So today's episode, we're going to be tackling the top 35 questions that were submitted to me by job seekers just like you. So whether you feel like you're dealing with aged bias, ageism, or maybe you're building your LinkedIn profile, or maybe just wondering how to pivot into a new industry, this episode is your roadmap to turning challenges into opportunities. So I'm super excited that you're here. Welcome to the Who You Know Show, where what you know is important, but who you know can make all the difference in your wealth, health, business, career, your relationships, and definitely in your life. And I'm super excited about today's episode because we're here to help you to level up, get noticed, and to connect to your next opportunity. So today's episode, we're going to be tackling the top 35 questions that were submitted to me by job seekers just like you, okay? So whether you feel like you're dealing with aged bias, right, ageism, or maybe you're building your LinkedIn profile, or maybe just wondering how to pivot into a new industry, this episode is your roadmap to turning challenges into opportunities. So I'm super excited that you're here. Now, let's just face it, okay? Navigating a job search after 50 can feel like you're climbing a freaking mountain. Right? For those of you that are in my network tuning in right now, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. It's like, it feels like you're climbing a mountain, not only climbing a mountain, but it feels like you're doing it in the dark, blindfold. Scary. But let me just tell you this, with the right tools, with the right strategies, and most importantly, the right mindset, you can actually overcome age bias and really build a brand that helps you to get noticed and land opportunities that you freaking deserve, all right? So today, I'm going to be answering your questions. We're talking about real questions from real people who are in the trenches just like you. So I'm excited about it. Let's rock, let's roll, let's go. All right, this first question comes from Karen in Dallas. She says, how do I overcome ageism or age bias in the hiring process? Well, it's a great question, Karen. The first thing that you want to do is to understand where it's coming from. Okay, understand that we all have some form of, biases in our lives. Like, stereotypes exist for a reason. Understand that stereotypes exist because they are based in truth. It doesn't mean that they are the truth. Okay, so as an example, with an older worker, they have this preconceived notion and this stereotype exists about you being that you are slower to adapt. Maybe you are a resistor of ideas. Maybe you are, slower to adapt, resistor of technology. Okay, you're like, I don't know about this AI stuff. I don't want to use it, right? I've done it this way, stuck in my ways, right? These are some of the things that they think about when they think about an older worker. Also more expensive, right? Maybe doesn't take direction well from others, like maybe a younger worker. How is this person going to fit in with the culture? So think about that. Karen, I want you to think about those. Understand the negative stereotypes first and foremost. Anytime you're overcoming something, you have to understand where it comes from. And then we want to overcome those stereotypes before they ever come out. Okay? So how do you do that? How do you overcome it before it ever comes out? Well, if I were wanting to overcome adaptability, well, let's say I was using AI. I was using technology. I was using the tools of the modern day and age. Well, wouldn't that show that I'm adaptable and capable? And, that old saying, can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? You've heard that before. Well, wouldn't that show that that's wrong, right? And that here I am using technology. I remember back in the day, they would tell job seekers that were older, they would tell them to bring an iPad into the interview because that showed that you use technology. Hey, Whatever you got to do to showcase the fact that they're wrong, okay? That's how you overcome it before it comes out, so that they're going, dang, I judged a book by its cover. I looked at this person and I judged them, okay? And we all do it every single day. If you say that you don't, you're lying to yourself and to the world. We do it every single day. We make judgments based off of what we see. And right or wrong, it's just the way that the human mind works. A lot of times it's meant to keep you safe, right? You might judge a neighborhood where you're like, I don't know if I'm going out there in that neighborhood, right? That judgment, it doesn't mean anything except for you just have this sixth sense of like safety and protection, right? And so we have these judgments and we have these stereotypes that exist because they're based in truth, but they are not the truth. And so we just need to showcase to that employer that it's not the truth, okay? It's not the truth. You need to overcome that objection before it ever comes out. But the first step is understanding, it's clarity, and understanding what those objections are. That's how you overcome age bias. So Karen, hopefully that helps you. James from Chicago. He says, how do I use LinkedIn to get noticed by recruiters and decision makers? Great question, James. All right, so LinkedIn is a phenomenal platform for that. What I would recommend, James, is that you go to LinkedIn, look for target companies that you want to work for. Let's say it's Toyota. You go to Toyota's company page, you follow it, you ring the notification bell so that you can get alerts every single time that they post anything. And then on that company page, if you scroll down, there's a section that says people. And click on people and then start searching through that. You can actually do a search through the people that work at that company. And you could type recruiter or hiring manager or people that work at the level that you work at, or maybe people that work at the level above where you work at. You want to have conversations with those people as well. So you're going to then, once you find them, we go to their profile to find out if they're active on LinkedIn. Right? They may or may not be active on the platform. So we want to figure that out. Are they active? Well, if they're active, now what I want to do is look at their content that they're posting about, right? And I'm going to actually send them a video comment using a tool called BombBomb, B-O-M-B. I'm going to use BombBomb, and I'm going to send them a video comment with their name on it written on a little whiteboard. Okay, so I'm going to write their name on a whiteboard, flash it at the camera so that they see their name in the comment section of their own post. And that is really going to grab their attention. They will press play. And so now what you've done is you've just traveled space and time, and now you're in their office. You've got 30 to 45 seconds with this video to really seal the deal. So how do you seal the deal? Well, you add this 3 C's framework, which is compliment, commonality, and call to action. So give them a compliment, find something in common with the post or with something you saw online about them that you have in common with them, and then leave them a clear call to action to schedule with you on your calendar, okay? And the more you do that, the more conversations you'll get booked on your calendar. You'll blow people away. They're going to be wowed by you because you took the extra time to send them a video comment like that. And they'll get on your calendar. I promise you that. All right, so hopefully that helps, James. We got Susan from H-Town, my kinfolk, Houston, Texas, okay? Susan, okay? She says, what should I put in my LinkedIn headline to stand out from the competition? Okay, great question. I get this a lot. LinkedIn headline. What we want to do is put your XYZ statement. Okay, so I help X. X is your target market. Accomplish Y. Y is the problem you solve using Z. And Z is the method for solving that problem. So as an example for myself, I help executive level job seekers overcome ageism and recover their income by helping them optimize their LinkedIn profile, or by helping them create a video resume, or whatever it is, okay? Whatever the method is for solving that problem, okay? So you want to have your XYZ statement, and then you want to have keywords after that, okay? And then a call to action, okay? So XYZ statement, a few keywords, call to action, okay? Now, what is your call to action? Your call to action could be tools in my featured section, right? Direct them to your featured section, or DM me to learn more, or whatever the case may be. But you want to have some simple little short call to action, and ask ChatGPT to help you create one. Have it list 50 short call to actions that you could put at the end of your headline, and it'll shoot out a whole bunch of them that you can choose one that you really like. But think about, where do you want that person to go next? That's super important. They're on your profile. They're looking at you. They identify with the problem you solve, and they're like, oh, cool, I want to talk with Susan. And yeah, what do you want them to do next? Do you want them to DM you? Do you want them to email you? Do you want them to call you? What do you want them to do? Okay, think about that. All right, next up, we got Robert from Atlanta, A-Town in the house. All right, how do you use video content on LinkedIn effectively without looking awkward or unprofessional? What a phenomenal question. Okay, how do you use LinkedIn video content on LinkedIn effectively without looking awkward or unprofessional? Well, you're only going to look awkward and unprofessional if you're not being yourself. Okay? If you're trying to fit a mold, you're going to look awkward. Okay? So be authentic, be genuine when you're creating content, tell stories. The more stories that you can tell, facts tell, stories sell. So I would highly encourage you to tell stories, because that is going to put you and put the audience in a place where a visualization, so they're going to be less focused on you. And also remember that you can add in B-roll, and you can add in different elements into your video to really make it pop and really make it shine, okay? But most importantly, be authentically you, right? Don't try to be, like, I'll give you an example. There are some motivational speakers that I really, really, really highly look up to. I love their style. They motivate me. They get me going. Eric Thomas, E.T., is one of them, okay? And he's like, blah, 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 and he's no nonsense, and he's yelling, and he's like, blah, blah, blah. Okay? That's not my style, though. Okay? I could try to emulate that, but it's just not going to work for me. It's his style. It's authentically who he is. He's like that football coach who's yelling at you. But that's not me. All right? So anyways, be authentically you. This will help you to not look as awkward and to also stay professional. All right, we got Linda from Phoenix. All right, she says, should I include dates on my resume that show I've been working for 20 plus years? Oh, I love this question. No, you shouldn't. Okay. You really only want 10 years, or roughly 10 years of relevant experience that is relevant to the job that you're applying to. Anything past that, listen, experience that you had from 20 years ago, we were in a different world 20 years ago. Golly, you know what I mean? The world was different 20 years ago, completely. I don't care about your experience 20 years ago. It's not relevant today. Sorry, it's just not. So I wouldn't even put it on there. It's not relevant. So, now if you were at that company for 20 years, right? You're going to put the company, you're going to put the titles and stuff like that, but you're not going to put dates, and we don't want experience that's not relevant, okay, today. So hopefully that answers your question. We got David from Los Angeles, okay? David from LA. He says, how can I show I'm tech savvy enough to keep up with the younger candidates? Ooh, I love that. The reason I love this question, David, is because you need to overcome age discrimination and age bias. You've got to overcome that one. So great question. What you need to do is start using technology, right? You need to start using AI. You need to start learning, start taking action, start putting yourself out there using these tools. You could create content using AI. You could create systems using AI. Show that you're proficient in it. Show that you're using these tools. And just the fact that you're doing it will overcome that objection. Okay? So, yeah, that's the only way to do that is by doing. You just got to do it. Okay? And I know for some of the older generation, the way they would solve problems is if they got stuck, they would wait to ask a person how to solve it for them, because they didn't have, the internet, and they didn't have, YouTube, and they didn't have ChatGPT, and they didn't have these different information sources. So, they would go and wait until they could actually connect with a human to ask a human to help them. Right? That's how they would solve a problem when they got stuck. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not the approach you should be using, because I see it all the time with that generation. If they get stuck, they stop and they wait for a human to answer it for them. And I'm like, they're asking me a question that they could have done a Google search for. They could have done a ChatGPT search for. They could have watched a YouTube video. And I'm like, ugh, gosh. Like, not only does that waste my time, but it wastes their time because they had to wait for the answer. I'm like, you literally could have just searched that. Like, go to Google. Have you ever heard that term? Google it, right? So that's another thing that I'll tell you is if you get stuck using technology and you're like, oh, you get like hung up, don't stop. And don't start asking other people for help until you have exhausted all the resources that are out there. Use YouTube, use Google, use ChatGPT, use the resources that are out there to try to find the answer first. Okay? Don't ask me. Right? Anyway, hopefully that helps, David. Let's see. We've got Angela from New York. All right, she says, how do I make networking feel authentic instead of transactional? Oh, I love this question. Guys, secretly, I don't really like networking, even though it's super powerful and I use it. And I'm an advocate of networking and relationship building. That's what this show's about, right? It's all about who you know. But like a lot of times when you go into a networking event, you get somebody that's a taker, and they walk up to you and they're just take. They're like, how can I, help me with this? Can you help me with that? Can you And they're just like takers. You know those people when you see them. You feel their energy. They're there to drain you. They're there to get what they want. So I want you to flip that and go be a giver. Instead of a taker, I want you to be a giver. So you give and then you ask, right? Now, you're asking the question about feeling authentic instead of transactional. Well, you got to ask yourself, if it's take, well, that's transactional. Give is more relational. And I'll tell you as well, another couple tips that you could do, Angela, is you'll say you go to a networking event, connect with the facilitators of that event, and I want you to ask them how you can give back. How can you volunteer? How can you support the group? How can you, stay early or come early and stay late, stacking up chairs, how can you help with the event? I want you to just think about that, handing out name tags, whatever, so you can become a part of it. That's one of the secrets I do, because I'm secretly an introverted extrovert, okay? I'm extroverted in my zone of genius, but put me in a room full of strangers, that's not my, I don't like, get me on stage, cool, right? Because I have a purpose. Or even give me a stack of name tags, cool. I got a purpose. I'm out there, boom, 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 I'm handing people name tags out, whatever. Like, if I have a role to play, I can fall into a zone of genius. But if I feel like I'm not sure what I'm doing there and I just got to talk to a stranger and ask them, hey, what do you do? And they're like, hey, what do you do? And like, it's super awkward for me. I hate small talk. I don't like it. It makes me feel, I don't like small talk. Okay. It feels like a waste of time. So when people come up to me and they're like, hey, what do you do? And I'm like, oh my God, not that question again. Right? I'm not in my zone of genius. I actually despise it. It makes me feel sick. Okay. I don't like it. It drains a lot of energy from me. So in order for me to fall into my authentic zone of genius, I need to have a role. Okay. And I know that about myself. I need to have a role. Some other people are very, very extroverted and they can just get out there and they're the ones walking up to you saying, hey, what do you do? Hey, hey, hey. You know, like they're super extroverted. Good for them. That's not me. I'm an introverted extrovert. I have to have a role, a place. And once I feel that, I'm going to like come out of my shell. Okay. So hopefully that helps for you. I would figure out what type of person you are, and that might make you feel a little more authentic so you can know your place in that networking situation. All right. We got Michael from Seattle. How do I follow up after an interview without sounding desperate? Oh, all right. Well, first of all, understand that follow-up is not desperate. Follow-up is necessary, and they want you to follow up. So first, it's just an understanding. Let's just clarify that. It's not desperate. Okay? Number one, they want you to follow up. If you don't follow up, you're not serious, right? You didn't want the job if you don't follow up, right? It's kind of like dating. If you go on a date and you never hear from the person, they weren't interested. That's what the company thinks. They're like, oh, well, Michael must not be interested. So you need to follow up. Just understanding that first and foremost, it's not desperate, okay? It's necessary. So with that, let me teach you how to follow up in the best possible light. What I want you to do after an interview is I want you to follow up with a video email. You're going to send that through. Use a tool. There's one called BombBomb. There's Loom, Vinyard. There's different tools. But I want you to use a video communications tool. I recommend BombBomb. Phenomenal tool. And you're going to send a video email, write a little, get a little whiteboard, get them on Amazon, and write their name on it and flash it at the screen or at the camera, and that'll grab their attention, and they will be so impressed by you for following up with this video. And what you're going to want to do is lead with gratitude. You're going to just say, hey, thank you so much for the interview and the time you spent with me. It really meant a lot to me. I learned so much about Toyota and the company culture there, and I'm just super pumped and excited about the opportunity. Matter of fact, I went ahead and applied for it, and here's my resume attached up above. If you know anybody else I should talk with, I'd greatly appreciate it. And hey, I know these resumes sometimes get stuck in the black hole. If you could just make sure it gets in front of the right pair of eyes, okay? And so that could be simply like after an informational interview, or even after a solid real interview, you could do that, okay? Just follow up throughout the entire process. Lead with gratitude. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it. I learned a lot. I'm excited. Can't wait to learn more. What are the next steps in the process? Have a call to action, and boom. Okay, they'll be super impressed by that. Okay, maybe even answer questions that you didn't feel like you answered very solid, or maybe you didn't know the answer to. Like, hey, I was thinking about, you asked me that question. I went and did some research, and this is actually the way I would handle it. Boom. Right? That shows you're capable, you're able. Like, come on, let's go. All right? So, Michael, hopefully that helps. Patricia from Denver, she says, how do I turn an informational interview into a job offer? Ooh, okay. Informational interview into a job offer. This is a good one. Great question. So, after that informational interview, you're going to want to follow up. Just like I talked about a minute ago, follow up with a video email saying thank you, lead with gratitude. Thank you so much for the interview. Thank you so much for your time. I learned a ton about the Toyota and the company culture there. I'm excited about the opportunity. As a matter of fact, I went ahead and applied online to job number 345. super excited about it, and I'm attaching my resume up above in this email. If you could, do me a huge favor and just pass it along. I know sometimes these get stuck in the black hole. So would love that if you could just pass it along. And if there's anybody else you know I should talk to, I'd love an introduction as well. But thanks again for the time. I hope you have an amazing, blessed day, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye. Right? And you send that in a video email saying thank you, gratitude, okay? And now all of a sudden those, you wow them, and you had that informational interview, and all of a sudden now those emails start to go viral within the company, and now you're having a real interview because a real decision maker sees that and is like impressed by it. So they want to talk to you. Okay, so that's how you do it. Use the Trojan horse strategy. So hopefully that helps. If you want to learn more about that, come to the Career Transition Summit. All right, we got Tom in Boston. All right, Tom says, how do I identify the hidden job market? How do I identify the hidden job market and get in before jobs are posted? First of all, great job, Tom, for even thinking that way, because that's the way you need to go. The hidden job market is where 70 to 80% of jobs are landed, okay? Most of them are not posted online. And how do you access it? How do you identify where those jobs are? Well, you got to have conversations with people that work inside the companies that you want to work for, okay? It's that simple. The more informational interviews that you have, the more conversations that you have with companies and with people that work inside of those companies, that's when those opportunities will present themselves, okay? It's not going to happen by just applying online because, you know, again, this is the hidden job market. This is the jobs that aren't posted. So you've got to have conversations. That's the only way to do it. And to create visibility is another way to do it. Creating visibility and building a personal brand, letting people know what you want to do, what problem you solve, who you solve it for, and how you solve it. And doing that frequently and consistently will help you to create visibility that attracts opportunities to you. People are going to reach out to you, and some of those are going to be jobs that aren't posted, okay? Some of those will just land in your lap. So hopefully, Tom, that helps. Learn more about that in the Career Transition Summit also. All right, Deborah from Austin. How do I use AI to help with my job search without making it feel robotic? Okay, that's a good one. She's saying, how do I use AI, but you want to feel like a human, right? You don't want to feel like a robot. Well, great question. So, Deborah, here's what you're going to want to do. I would use a tool called Riverside.fm to record a long-form video, okay? You're going to have a talk solving a problem. Similar to what I'm doing with this podcast episode, I'm having a long-form conversation on camera. And you're going to do the exact same thing using Riverside. So it's your unique and authentic voice. You're speaking, okay? So just speak on camera. You have to learn how to do this, but you're going to speak on camera, long-form video. Riverside will then chop that thing up into 1 million pieces. So that's the AI part. The AI is going to chop it up into 1 million pieces, and they even have all kinds of cool tools with it. The AI does that will extract your unique voice. So we can use the transcription service to put that conversation into text. That text then can be taken over to ChatGPT or any other service to pull out quotes and polls and articles and all kinds of carousels. And you create an entire content ecosystem, showcasing the problems that you solve and how you solve them, okay? But it's in your unique voice. Why? Because it's from your transcription from your long-form video, okay? So long-form video is the foundation to the content machine. But that's how you do it in a way that feels authentically you, okay? Because it is you. It's your words, your voice, okay? So hopefully that helps, Deborah. We got Rick in San Francisco. Rick says, should I share my personal story or vulnerable moments online, or will that backfire? Oh, wow, that's a great question. Okay. So I highly encourage you to share your personal stories, and even the vulnerable moments. You got to share that, because now here's the caveat to that. You don't just want to share like the oh woe is me, like oh victim mentality stuff, like oh I got ghosted by this employer, and you're crying online. No one wants to hear that. Honestly, no one does. You will detract people. People will run from you if you're just a victim. Okay. So don't be a victim. But what you want to do is share those vulnerable moments about, what you're going through, the challenges, the obstacles, how hard it is. But here's what I've learned through the process. I learned how to do, tip number 1, 2, and 3. Act as if you're teaching someone how to overcome that obstacle. So don't just put a problem without a solution, okay? A problem without a solution, oh, come on now. No one wants to read that. Give me a solution with it. Give me the tips, the lessons, the value, okay? And that will actually help it to perform way better and keep it professional, right? So absolutely, I recommend that you do share your personal story and your vulnerable moments, but we want to do it in a way that showcases you as a thought leader and as someone who can overcome obstacles, okay? We got Lisa from Philadelphia. All right, them Eagles is trash. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a Cowboy fan, but hey, for real. Lisa from Philadelphia, she says, how do I build a personal brand that doesn't feel like bragging? Okay. Well, I like this question because you can brag a little bit here and there, okay? But you don't want to be salesy or spammy, okay? You really don't want to do that. So this goes to making it valuable, showcasing the problems that you solve for a company, okay? So I go back to that. It's when you're creating that content and you're building your personal brand, you don't want to just be like all about you, okay? Matter of fact, you wanted to make that content about the other person, the audience. How can you solve a problem for them? How can you make their life easier? The easier that you can make their life, the more people will want to help you with your life, okay? So, but it's the give, then ask method, right? So you're going to give 3 times, then you're going to ask. So you can have a post in there that is like bragging. Like I'll give you an example. Sometimes I'll get featured in the news. Guess what? I'm going to post about that. I'm like, boom, and I post about it like, hey, here's this, news feature. People want to celebrate it. They want to clap for you. They want to support you, right? So it's not a bad thing to brag. It's just you don't want to do it all the time, okay? So give, then ask. You can do that. Hopefully that helps, Lisa. Steve in Nashville. How do I pivot to a new industry when all my experience is in one field? Well, great question, Steve. If all of your experience is in one field and you want to pivot, you need to look for transferable skills. All right? What can translate to the new field? What skills do you have that you could take to the other place? Then we want to look, and this either can happen through relationship, connection can also open doors for you. Relationships and connection can open doors for you. But you might have to, a lot of these companies want experience. Okay, they want you to have experience in this specific industry before they will, hire you for that. So in order to get that experience, you may need to volunteer. Okay, you may need to volunteer. And understand that this pivot typically doesn't happen overnight. This might not be an overnight thing. It may take you a lot longer to do this pivot. All right? And sometimes you got to go backwards too. Are you willing to go backwards, to go forwards? I remember I had to do this when I moved into financial services from the auto industry. In the auto industry, I was the top producer there 6 years in a row, was crushing it, was dominating. But I was moving into something all new. And guess what? I knew I was going to have to go backwards to go forwards. And so I did that. And are you willing to do that? Understand that. That's super important. So pivoting into a complete different industry, it is doable, guys. It is so doable, but you've got to understand the challenges that are ahead of you. It's not easy, but it could be worth it. It could definitely change your life. If you hate what you do, if you hate the industry you're in, guys, you only got one life. So it may be worth volunteering. It may be worth going backwards to go forward, right? So hopefully that helps. Let's see. Maria from Charlotte. Should I consider consulting or freelance work if I can't find a full-time job? Wow. Yes. Maria, yes. If you can't get back to a full-time job, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Okay? That may mean going backwards, taking a lesser role, right? You've got to know what your financial runway looks like. You got to know how, like, survival mode. Like, you got to do what you got to do. Don't lose everything you have. Don't lose your house and your cars and get your cars repoed and all that kind of stuff. You can't do that. Guys, if you're listening right now and you've been out at work for, 2-3 years or whatever, and you have not worked in 2 to 3 years, come on. Because you're holding out to get back to where you were. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So, yes, I am full an advocate for that. Like, sometimes you got to take that gap job. It's called a gap job. And I'm always in support and an advocate of someone who takes a gap job. Totally cool. It doesn't mean that you give up on your dreams of your dream job. No. But take that gap job so that you can feed yourself and do what you got to do. Okay, I love that. Paul in Miami says, how do I overcome the fear of rejection and keep applying even when I get no replies? Okay. Well, first of all, we got to get you some replies. We got to overcome the ghosting. All right. I mean, you have a fear of rejection because you're being ghosted. Okay. You're being rejected. So what I would tell you to do, Paul, in this scenario is we need to flip the script and we need to attract opportunities. Right now you're chasing opportunities and you're worried that they're not going to call you back. Let's just be real. You're chasing opportunities and you're worried that they're not going to call you back. What I want you to do is to attract opportunities. Okay? They come to you. And in that scenario, when they come to you, it's a whole nother ball game. So how do you do that? Well, you have to build a personal brand. You got to create content. You got to market yourself. I have something called the 7 C's to careers and cash flow. Consistent content creates conversations that convert into careers and cash flow. Okay? So you've got to create content consistently, build your personal brand. This will attract, on LinkedIn, it will attract opportunities to your front door. So that will stop the ghosting, okay? So hopefully that helps you. Also, one other thing, Paul, is by follow-up. Through the process, follow up effectively using video emails like BombBomb to send in a highly targeted, personalized video message that converts so that they stop ghosting you. Users report 81% less ghosting when they use the video communications email for follow-up. 81% less ghosting. Come on now. So hopefully that helps, Paul. Connect with my Career Transition Summit to learn more about that. I'll dive deep with you, okay? All right, we got Nancy from Kansas City. She says, how do I identify the best companies to target in my search? Oh, I love this question, Nancy. So first, we want to get clear on the types of roles that you're looking for. And once we get clear on that, guys, when it comes to identifying opportunities, we're just going to use ChatGPT deep research, okay? Literally go to ChatGPT, type it in there. Here's the type of roles that I'm looking for. This is the salary range. This is this, that, and the other. The more detail you can give it, the better, right? Have some examples even. Like maybe if you found one, put it in there. Show it the example. This is the type of thing that I'm looking for. This is my dream job right here. Boom. Search. Do deep research. There's a deep research button. Do deep research on more opportunities like this. Hit enter. Boom. Okay? And it's going to come up with that. And I would do that on a frequent basis so that you can start to find those opportunities and identify those. So hopefully that helps. Nancy, do deep research with ChatGPT. Brian in Minneapolis, what's your number one piece of advice for job seekers over 50 who feel stuck? All right. My number one piece of advice. Well, that's a good question. I guess I would ask you, where are you stuck? But it really depends on where you're stuck. Really, it depends on how you're stuck. Like what's going on? What's holding you back? I always ask that question. What's the number one challenge in your job search? Right? So for me to understand how to get you unstuck, I need to know a little more info on how you're stuck. What is holding you back? What's your challenge? But if I just had to throw something out there that has been super effective, it's building a personal brand, getting out of your comfort zone and putting yourself out there and creating content and marketing yourself. Right now, what's going on is nobody knows you exist. You're applying online and nothing's happening, right? Apply, spray and pray, nothing's going on. So that's one of the most common things that I see job seekers doing, and it's the biggest mistake that I see. So I would rather see you, instead of applying to 10 jobs a day or whatever, however many you're applying to, instead of doing that, how about create content that positions yourself as the expert and sells yourself and shows why you're the go-to candidate and shows why you are a thought leader in your industry and you're the best person for the job, right? That's what I would do, and build a personal brand around that. And you're actually going to now attract opportunities to your front door. They're going to come to you. So that would probably be my number one piece of advice. But if I really wanted to dig in, I'd need to know more, Brian, about what's holding you back. Can you shoot me an email, Trevor at whoyouknow.show. Send me an email, Brian, about what's your biggest challenge. I would put that back in your court. What's the biggest thing holding you back right now? We got Julie from Detroit. All right, Julie. She says, how do I stay positive and motivated during a long job search? I love this question. Oh, I feel you. I feel you. No, I really do. Look, can I be real with you guys? I've been going through a long search myself. Not a job search, but it's a different type of search. Been going through a little bit of a longer search in the dating world. And, I'm being very, very selective. So that's why it's taking me longer to find that, this is my forever partner, right? I'm looking for my soulmate. It's taking me a little bit longer, and it's it can get frustrating. It can get overwhelming. It can beat you down, okay? How do you stay positive? You got to work on yourself. Think about the things that fill your cup, right? When are you at your peak performance? When are you at your happiest? You just light up like a Christmas tree. When is that? For me, it's when I'm able to help someone transform their life, when I'm able to help them get a result and I see the transformation. When they tell me, oh my gosh, I put one of your strategies into place and it helped me land a job, right? That lights me up. I had one time where we had 4 job seekers land in one of our sessions. They landed a job and it was one after another, and it made me cry. Like it broke me down into tears because I was so happy, right? It was tears of joy. I was so happy. So, what lights you up like a Christmas tree? Only you're going to know that. Identify that and do it more often, whatever that is. right? Another thing is to understand that a lot of times when you're in the job search, you can grind it out. You're just grinding. You do need to decompress. You do need to do things that allow you to breathe so you don't get burnout. You don't want to get burnout. So like for me, I like to get out in nature. I like camping. Like literally if I'm feeling burnout, I just want to go get away from it all. I want to like throw my phone in the trash because, your phone's going off all the time. You get all these notifications. You just go. The world's pulling you in a million different directions. So I want to unplug. That's one of the ways that I kind of decompress, get in nature, and it's just a beautiful thing. Helps me recharge my batteries. So understand what is it that helps you to recharge your batteries. Highly recommend for everyone going through this. I don't care, you, me, doesn't matter. There's science behind this. This is the next tip, Julie, is get in the gym. Start working out. And I don't mean you got to be like a weightlifter, a bodybuilder. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you need to do some physical exercise every single day. It's not only good for your mindset, it's good for your health. It's good for your attitude. It's good to release a lot of negativity. You're able to push that through and push it out. A lot of times we got to get negative out in order to put positive in, right? That's another thing. If you're feeling like overwhelmed, maybe depressed, maybe fearful, maybe sad, get all of that negative emotion out of you. How do you do that? Well, maybe you need to cry. Maybe you need to scream. Maybe you need to yell. Maybe you need to punch the ground. Maybe you need to get a punching bag. I don't know what it is, but get it out because it's toxic. It's inside of you. This is like this just darkness in there. You got to just get it out and then speak life, speak only positive thoughts. I literally today, this is hold on, who was this that asked it? Julie, sorry, I forgot who asked the question. So Julie, literally today, I woke up, was a little bit off my routine, a little bit tired, feeling a little bit like I was running on fumes, and negativity started to hit me. Right, I was being attacked by negativity, and I'm not kidding you, Julie. I said out loud, "Today's gonna be a great day. Today's 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 gonna be a great day. Today is gonna be a great day. Today's gonna be a great day." Say it with me now. Today is going to be a great day. Today's going to be a great day. Like I had to do it over and over and over. Today's going to be a great day. Like you got to be your own cheerleader sometimes. Speak it out there. And I had to do that over and over and over and over and over. And it may sound crazy. It may sound stupid. It may sound wacky, but guess what? It works. It works. Okay? There's power. The power of life and death is in the tongue. So what are you speaking? What are you speaking? Today's going to be a great day, right? And get all of that negative out, right? So again, I told you earlier, got to get the negative out. So if you need to scream and yell and cry and punch the ground because you're just, but get it out and then make a decision that it's no more stinking thinking, only positive thoughts. Today's going to be a great day. Today's going to be a great day. Today's going to be a freaking great day. And it will be. I promise you. Okay? So hopefully, Julie, that helps. Mark in Orlando says, how do I deal with rejection after interviews? And what can I learn from it? All right. Love this question. Because when a rejection happens, just remember it's not a rejection, it's a redirection. So thank you for saving the time. Thank you for the no. I want the no's. I just want the no's quickly. Okay, I want to get through those no's as quickly as possible. But when you get a rejection, I know you're attached to it. It hurts. It's like, I was really counting on that. Okay? First of all, one of the ways to deal with rejection is to have a pipeline. If you don't have a pipeline, Yeah, it's going to sting because you're like, I was counting on that. I was really, really, really counting on that. It's the only thing I had. So that's number one, is you need to create a pipeline. We can help you with that. Come to my Career Transition Summit. I'll teach you. But let's just say you get a rejection. You're counting on it. You're feeling like, oh. What I want you to do is flip it into gratitude, okay? After that interview, I want you to reach out, send a follow-up email telling them you're so thankful and grateful. Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate the extra time you spent with me and getting to know Toyota and the company culture. And I what a phenomenal company you guys are. I just want to say that. Sorry it didn't work out. I'm super glad that you found what you're looking for, though. But hey, listen, if any other roles come up or any other positions that you think I should be aware of that might be a better fit for my skill set, please don't hesitate to reach out. Or if there's anyone else you think I should connect with, don't hesitate to forward my information. But thank you again. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you spending the extra time with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have an amazing, blessed day. And I hope you don't mind if I'll follow up and stay in touch just in case new opportunities come up. Right? That's your video email. You're going to send that in. Lead with gratitude and appreciation for their time. And I promise you, you might be shocked. They may create an opportunity just for you. I've seen that happen a bunch of times. But if you get frustrated and, well, tell me why, and all the feedback, like imagine in a dating scenario. Okay, how often does that work? Where you get rejected by a girl or woman and she rejects you, and you ask her why so that you can try to overcome it. How often does that work out? It never works out. Like, when they've made their decision, they've made their decision. Okay? So that's just the way it is. So go ahead and just say, hey, I wish you guys all the best. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate the time. And hey, look, if you ever know anyone in the future or know of any other roles, I'd love to hear from it. All right, so hopefully that helps you. We got Heather from Indianapolis. She says, how do I identify and communicate my unique value position? Ooh, I love that. Or not position, my unique value proposition. Okay, Heather, it's a formula called the XYZ formula. So I help X. X is your target market. Accomplish Y. Y is the problem you solve using Z. And Z is the method for solving that problem. Okay? So as an example, I help job seekers get noticed and recover their income by helping them to position themselves as experts in their field and attract opportunities. Okay? So, I help who? Job seekers. That's I help X, right? That's your target market. Accomplish Y. Y is the problem you solve using Z, and Z is the method or mechanism for solving that problem. How do you help them solve that? So that is how you communicate your unique value proposition. That's it. All right, Scott in San Diego. He says, how do I get past the applicant tracking system, the ATS, to make sure my resume is seen? Oh, Scott, I love you, man. But let me tell you, you're asking the wrong question. You're asking the wrong question. Look, it don't matter what you do to your resume, it's going to get stuck in the black hole. You got all these people, ATS-friendly resume. Oh, that's a bunch of garbage, okay? We're going to, ChatGPT my resume to make it, get through the ATS, blah, blah, blah. Look, there's best practices, guys. But, Scott, just understand that applying online and your resume going in the black hole is a formality. It's just part of the process, and everybody's going through it. You're going through it, and so is everyone else, okay? So it's the wrong question. What I'd like for you to do, Scott, is look at it from a different lens. Instead of just applying online, what else could you do? How about have conversations with people, okay? How about building a professional brand to attract opportunities? How about creating a video resume that you can send to people so they can get to know the human element, the human side of you, okay? So this is one of the biggest things that I see people focus way too much time on their resume, okay? And they're not doing the other things. They're over here trying to put keywords and stuff it with the white letters so that they can do all these different things and ChatGPT my resume, because you think that's what's holding you back. Well, it is and it isn't, but it's not the actual resume that's holding you back. It's the fact that you're focused so much on the resume that's holding you back. Your focus is in the wrong direction. Right? You're focusing on the wrong thing, my friend. Scott, so holla at your boy. Okay, you need to come through my Career Transition Summit. We'll talk about it's really not your resume, my friend. It's the fact that that's all you're focused on. Okay. All right. So Amy from Salt Lake City, she says, should I apply for jobs even if I don't meet 100% of the requirements? Absolutely. Absolutely you should. Okay. I would say 80% and up, go ahead and apply, but we got to get a human involved. Again, if you're not getting humans in the game to have conversations, right, they're going to want that purple squirrel who's that 100% candidate, right? They're going to want that, but with human relationship, and you got an advocate on the inside of the company, trust me when I tell you, an 80% can get that job all day long with a relationship, 100%. So yeah, you're going to make up that extra 20% that you're not a fit. You're going to make up that with relationship. Okay. Greg in Portland says, what's the most effective way to network online versus in person? All right. Great question, Greg. So in person, right, you're going and you're trying to connect with people and build relationship. I would recommend being a part of the event so that you can really have a role. Maybe try to get on the microphone, try to get on the stage, figure out how you can add value, how can you support the group. That's one of the ways that you can do in person. Effective ways online is this. It's very similar. You're trying to add value. You're trying to support a community. You're trying to build a community. You're trying to help solve problems, right? So effective networking, guys, I want you to think of it this way. What is networking? Networking is the cultivation of productive relationships for business or career, okay? So cultivation is the key word there. And to cultivate means you have to nourish, you have to water, you have to put the right soil, the right sunlight, right? You have to you need nourishment, okay? So it's the same thing. You've got to add value. You got to nourish your relationships and your network online. And how do you do that? Well, give, right? Give, add value, solve a problem, figure out what you can do to make their life easier. And if you don't know, ask questions. I get that all the time. How do I do that? How do I give back? How do I add value? Ask, right? Maybe do a poll, literally do a LinkedIn poll and figure out, what your audience is struggling with and go put together something to help solve that problem, okay? But figure out ways to make people's lives easier. Be a connector, right? Being a connector is one of the easiest ways to add value to someone else's life, because even if I don't directly solve the problem for you, I connected you with someone who did. So yeah, I did. By proxy, I definitely did solve that problem for you. So like as an example, let's say I connect you with a recruiter at Toyota because you're trying to get a job there, and I connect you with that recruiter directly, and they hire you. Well, did I help you get a job? Absolutely, I did. Okay. Do you see value in me? Absolutely. And all I had to do was connect the dots. Did I have to hire you? No. Was I the one that directly hired you? No. Did I make the decision on you? No. I didn't do anything. All I did was connect the dots. And so being a connector is super valuable because you can still make an impact in someone's life without actually having to do the work. How cool is that? So that's another way to really network online, is being a connector. So figure out what people's needs are and then go connect them with the resources. All right, so I love that. By the way, again, this episode, I'm going to take a quick pause right here. We are going over the 35 questions, okay? People have submitted. And so if you would like to submit your question, you can do that, Trevor at whoyouknow.show. If you have a question that you would like me to answer, I'd love to hear from you. And all you got to do is send that in to Trevor at whoyouknow.show. Take a little sip here. All right. We're almost through. We're on the home stretch. We got Monica from St. Louis. She says, how do I build relationships with recruiters who specialize in my industry? All right. So building relationships with recruiters, whether they're in your industry or not in your industry, what you want to do is first locate them. Where are they? Where do they spend time? Well, LinkedIn most likely. So I would go to LinkedIn, find these decision makers, find these recruiters, and then add value by going to their content and actually commenting on their posts, okay? But you want to comment in a way that really showcases that you care and that you're adding value and something that's different and unique. So not just any black and white text comment is going to do, okay? It's what everyone else does. So what do? Well, you go ahead and you send a video comment with that person's name on it. It's personalized. It's video. Shows them who you are. And it's a comment on their post. And you're going to include the 3 C's. So the 3 C's are compliment, commonality, call to action. Okay, so you're going to compliment them on the post. Hey, great post. Love this. This is awesome. Thank you for the insights. Find something in common that you have with them. So mention the commonality. And then a call to action. Hey, I'd love to have a quick conversation with you sometime. I know you're probably busy, so I'm including a link to my calendar. Just pick the time that works best for you, right? And they will grab that link. They'll get on your calendar. You can have a conversation with them and start to build relationships. The other thing you could do, Monica, is you could go where these people are. Again, are there different groups that they attend, right? Where do they go? Where do the recruiters go? Go find them. Go find out where they meet on a regular basis. Start attending those groups and those events. All right, George in Tampa. Should I send thank you notes after interviews, and what should they say? George, absolutely. You definitely need to follow up. If you ain't following up, you don't care, right? You don't care. It wasn't important. That's the way they look at it. So, yeah, 100%, you need to follow up, and you need to do it in a video email, not just black and white text, because we want to put the human element in. We want to stand out, and we also want the analytics, the tracking that these video emails give you. So you're going to send that in, write their name on a little whiteboard, flash it at the screen, and say, hey, Susan, thank you so much for the time. So again, we're going to lead with gratitude. Thank you so much for the time. I learned so much about Toyota and the company culture. I'm super excited about the opportunity. Listen, if you need anything else, any more information, don't hesitate to reach out. But again, I just wanted to say thank you so much for the opportunity. By the way, you can also answer questions that maybe you didn't answer very solidly. Like, let's say there was a question that stumped you. You could say in your video, you could say something like, hey, when you asked me about X, Y, and Z, you kind of put me on the spot there. I'll be honest with you. But, hey, look, I was thinking about that. I've been thinking about that a lot. And, here's what I would say. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? So, and that's relatable, guys. That, look, you are being put on the spot. So it's totally relatable to say that. It's authentic. It's genuine. All right. But follow up, yes. Do it with video emails and lead with gratitude and a call to action at the end. All right, Tina from Cleveland. How can I demonstrate adaptability and willingness to learn in interviews? How can I demonstrate adaptability and willingness to learn in interviews? Okay. Well, Tina, that's a really good question. You're kind of stumping me here. In the interview, I would say do it before the interview. It's got to happen before the interview. How can you demonstrate adaptability and willingness to learn in the interview? Well, I mean, it's kind of hard if I don't have a specific question for me to go off of. I'll just be transparent with you, Tina. It's kind of hard for me if I don't have a specific question I can go off of. But adaptability and willingness to learn, I would say, comes from before the interview, when they see you using technology online, when they see you adapting with AI, when they see you using the tools of this modern day and age, right? When they see you using these different tools, and then following up, like we talk about all the time, following up with video emails, that also shows that you're adaptable. It shows that you're outside the box, right? So there's lots of things that you could do, but I would say it almost happens before the interview. And I would also say that, there may be a better answer to that question, Tina, to be frank with you, if I had a more clear question that you were getting asked. So I hope that makes sense. Matter of fact, reach out to me personally. I'd love to learn more about, dive deeper into that question for you. Eric in Baltimore, how do I manage multiple job applications without feeling overwhelmed? Okay, great question. There are tools out there, kind of like little CRM tools, that you can use to track your interviews, right? And if you have that, you don't feel like things are slipping through the cracks, right? So if you have almost like a CRM, like a management tool that helps you to track, to follow up, to know when was your last communication. Some people use Trello to build like a Trello board for follow-up. You could simply just use Excel. I mean, you could use an Excel, but there are tools out there. There are AI tools out there, okay? And I don't have the name of the tool on the top of my head, but what I would do, okay, anytime you get stuck and you don't know something like that, just go to ChatGPT and say, hey, what's the best job search AI tool for tracking and following up, so I don't lose anything, so nothing slips through the cracks and I don't feel overwhelmed. So you could put that in ChatGPT and it'll tell you what tools are out there, what are the best rated tools. So because I can't remember exactly off the top of my head which one it's called, but that's what I would do. I would use a system. You need a system, because without a system, yeah, things are slipping through the cracks, and now you feel overwhelmed because you feel like you're not doing something. You're missing something. Okay. Jessica from Milwaukee, how do I leverage alumni networks or professional associations? So that's so good. What a great question, Jessica. Those are so powerful because they are commonality groups. What do I mean by that? It means like the alumni is that commonality. That's the bridge for the relationship. Association, same thing. Like if it's an HR association, what's the commonality? HR. Everybody has that in common, right? So you already have that built into the relationship, which is super powerful. It's kind of like when you go to a networking group and there's no common theme, you don't even know how to start a conversation. So everybody's just like, oh, what do you do? Oh, what do you do? Oh, what do you do? Why are they doing that? Because they're grasping at straws because they don't know what's in common, right? So I love that you're asking this question, because those groups are built around a common theme, a commonality. And then what I would do is attend those regularly, okay? You can't just go once. You got to go multiple times. You got to go regularly so you meet the people over and over and over and over and add value. How can you support the group? How can you volunteer at the group? How can you hand out name tags? How can you stack the chairs? How can you make the event organizer's life easier? Stuff like that. Because when you do that, what do you think the event organizer is going to do? They're going to be like, oh my gosh, especially when you tell them you're looking for a job. They're like, oh my gosh, I need to introduce you to this person, this person, this person, this person. They're going to connect you. They're going to spotlight you. They're going to do, like, if you're giving, go support that group and just watch what happens. Show up regularly, support, but always remember to ask too. I do remember this. I had a guy, he was networking, handing out name tags at a job networking group, and I didn't find out till like 8 months later that he was searching for a job. I was like, dude, I thought he worked for the church. And I was like, dude, you got to be kidding me. I did not know you were searching. I said, that's a problem. Why didn't I know that? It's his fault that I didn't know that. He didn't tell me. He never spoke up. He didn't, you know what I mean? It's his fault. Like, you got to ask. So give. I would go give to that group, go give to those groups, but also ask, right? And watch what happens. Doors will start to open for you. Hopefully that helps, Jessica. Ron in Cincinnati. Should I talk about my salary expectations during the first interview? Oh, I love this question. I would. I ain't gonna lie. Let's get that out the way. Let's find out if we're aligned or if we're not. And if we're not aligned, like, move on. Right? I mean, why go through all these interviews just to find out you're not aligned on salary? Okay? Now, some people will tell you differently, okay? You may have somebody that tells you, well, that means you're, like it's too forward. No, I want to know. I want to know if we're aligned, if it's in the ballpark, right? Just ballpark it, okay? You don't have to get down to the nitty-gritty, but make sure it's in line with what you need. Imagine that. Imagine this is like a dream job of yours, but you literally need $100,000 to live off of. You need that. It's a requirement. Like your lifestyle, your house, your mortgage, your bills, your kids, your whatever. It costs you $100,000 a year to live, and you know that. Okay, you've done the numbers, you crunched it, you've put together your budget, blah, 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 okay? And you find out that this job is $50,000 after going through all of these rounds of interviews and going through the assessments and going through da-da-da-da-da-da. No, come on, guys, what a waste of time. You're wasting the company's time. You're wasting your time. Ugh. So I am an advocate for that. Some people may feel differently. Have them holla at you, boy. But I will tell you my opinion on that is, yes, get through it. Like, let's make sure we're on the same page here before, And again, range. But if they're not in the range, then bye-bye. Okay. Melissa from Pittsburgh. How do I create a video resume that feels authentic and not too salesy? Okay. Melissa, that's an easy one. I actually have a formula. There is a ChatGPT prompt, okay, that you can actually use with your physical resume, and we will paste that in and hit enter, and the formula actually will create your script, okay? It's going to create your script. And it's going to outline the problem you solve, what you're looking for, your career aspirations, what's next. Okay, all those things, a call to action. It's going to have all that built in. But another thing that will help you with that process is to, when you're delivering it, let's just put it this way. When you're delivering it, sometimes reading a script can feel very robotic. You're wanting to feel authentic. So I would take your script, maybe turn it into bullet points, and just wing it. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing with this this episode here. I've got some notes. I got, your question here, and I'm just going with it, going with the flow. Say it how you say it, okay? But have your bullets there of the formula that you want to speak it in. So again, I can help you a lot more on that. There's a lot of detail into that question. Come through my Career Transition Summit, or even send me an email, trevor@whoyouknow.show, and I can send you the ChatGPT prompt that will help you to create that resume script. And we'll walk you through it step by step, okay? Tim in Sacramento. What's the best way to ask for LinkedIn recommendations? Ooh, love that. All right. So before you ask, give. Give. So go out there. This is actually a dual strategy. Number one, I want you to think about people you've worked with in the past. Anybody that you've ever worked with. Okay, this could be old bosses, people at your level, people at higher levels, lower levels. I don't care. If you worked with them, go reach out on LinkedIn. You got to connect first. So hopefully you're already connected. Start there. Who are you connected with that you've worked with in the past? And go leave them a recommendation. And after you leave them a recommendation, then ask for a recommendation, right? And when you ask, make sure you mention that you're also looking for a job, okay? And guess what that's going to do? You've led with giving first, so they're going to reciprocate. It's the law of reciprocity. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. Wow, and I didn't know you were looking. Oh my gosh, why don't you come look at my company? Come on, son. Now you're leveraging those relationships, those previous relationships, to open doors as well and get recommendations. So it's a dual strategy. It helps you to get recommendations and it helps you to open up doors of opportunity from past relationships. These people have experienced how you work. Absolutely, you need to reach out to those people. I would give them a recommendation. Hopefully that helps. We got Samantha in Oklahoma City. How do I stand out in a competitive job market? Okay, I love this. Standing out, we can do this multiple ways. Building a professional brand, okay, through content marketing, showcasing the problems that you solve. Sending personalized, hyper-targeted video emails is another way. Doing what other people aren't willing to do, right? Like, that's how you stand out. When everybody's going this way, you go that way, right? Doing what other people aren't willing to do to get the result that they're not going to get, okay? That's how you stand out. So there's lots of things you can do, but just think about that. What is everyone else doing? And do it. Do the opposite, all right? Daniel, all right? Daniel says, what do I do if I feel like I'm being ghosted by recruiters? Great question. Follow up, but do it effectively using video communications tools like BombBomb to send in a thank you email with that video. We talk a lot about that. I'm telling you guys, that strategy solves so many problems. You guys notice a pattern here? If you're listening to this episode, how many times have I mentioned that strategy? Oh my gosh. It solves all these problems. That was my answer for probably 5 of these questions, right? That video communications tool, gosh, it's so powerful, right? If you're being ghosted, it actually reduced ghosting by 81%. Okay, that's what job seekers report. It helps get 81% more replies. Okay, why? Because you're showing so much value through the screen with a little small video. It's like a video voicemail. But like, if someone goes through that much effort, right? It feels to the recipient, it feels like a lot of effort. To you doing it, it's actually not a lot of effort, but it feels like a lot of effort to the person on the other end. They're like, wow. And they feel like they just can't help but reply to you. Like, if they ignore you, they feel guilty. Okay? So that's how you do it, my friend. If you want to remove ghosting from the process, you just need to interject yourself. The more human element that you can put in, the better. All right, Cynthia from Columbus. How do I avoid sounding desperate when I really, really, really need a job? Oof. I feel this question. I feel it because you need it, you want it, you got to have it. You're probably on your last dime, your last dollar, right? Well, that's the problem. Guys, at the root of this whole thing, it's financial. You're running out of money. That's why you feel desperate. And so if that's the root, then we need to shift our mindset around that. And we got to go in with what I call the $10 million mindset. $10 million mindset essentially detaches you from the outcome. Okay, you got to detach from the outcome. Because when you're so attached, you go into it like, oh my God, I need a job, need a job, need a job. Oh my gosh, I got to get this job, got to get this job. And you sound desperate. But when you detach from the outcome, it's like, I don't care. It doesn't matter if I get it or don't get it. Like, I want to make sure I'm getting the right job, not a job. I need the right job. Okay. So how do you get that mindset? Well, think about if you had $10 million in the bank, what would you do and say? How would you act through the process if you were going after this job because you wanted it, not because you needed it? How would you act? Like, what questions would you ask? I want you to put yourself in that mindset, okay? And that might be easier said than done, but really think about that for a minute. Visualize it. Close your eyes. If you had $10 million in your account and you never had to work another day in your life, what type of questions would you ask? Because I promise you, they will be completely different from the questions you are asking right now. The questions you are asking right now are coming from a scarcity mindset, a desperate mindset, that, oh my gosh, I need a job, right? Versus, no, I'd like to work here, but I don't have to work here. Does that make sense? So hopefully, Cynthia, that helps. And if you need help with that, again, use AI, use ChatGPT, and tell ChatGPT, like, hey, what questions should I ask? If I had $10 million in the bank, how would you ask questions to make sure that I'm not sounding desperate and that I want the job, I don't need the job, right? And ask ChatGPT to come up with those questions, and it'll frame it up. It'll help you. It'll help you if you're really struggling on putting that mindset on. Ask ChatGPT to help you with that, and just watch the questions. All right, man, I made it through. Oh, my goodness, 35 questions. You guys are awesome, by the way. Thank you for submitting these. Again, if you guys want to submit a question, submit it to Trevor at whoyouknow.show. I'd be more than glad to go over this with you. I thought this was awesome. What a cool episode. And, guys, here's the thing. This episode, it's all about empowering you with answers, right? So you don't feel like you're navigating this job search alone. So these questions, they're yours. And my answers, hopefully they're going to help you step into the modern job search with confidence and with clarity and with a game plan that actually works. So I'd love to hear also your guys' feedback on what was one of your favorite questions and answers. What was your favorite one? Okay. So here's just a couple of tips before we wrap this episode up. Remember, age is your advantage. Okay, and when you show up as a seasoned, strategic, and modern professional, right, that employers need, it's an advantage. Okay, but you got to show up that way. Your focus becomes your reality. Leverage LinkedIn, not just as a resume, but as a billboard for your brand. You got to plant a flag. This is your freaking billboard. Let people know what you're looking for, right? Where attention goes, money flows. Remember that. Use AI to scale your efforts, okay? AI will help you to do this at scale, but never lose your authentic voice, okay? Authenticity is going to win every time. So we need your authentic voice, but we also need scalability, and AI will help you to do both. Be human. Share your stories. Share your journey. Use humor. Connect with people. Because people hire people, guys. The ATS is not hiring anyone. It doesn't. People do. So people hire people. So we need to know you. Let's put the human element back into the job search. All right. So I like to end this episode with a call to action. All right. Here's your call to action, guys. So you're not just listening and doing nothing. I want you to take action. Pick the question that hit home the most for you. All right. And take action on it this week. Put it into practice, right? Whether you're updating your LinkedIn headline or maybe you're recording a short video, whatever it is that you learned today, I want you to take action on it this week. Heck, take action on it today because you'll forget by next week. Do it now, all right? Do one thing today that moves you closer to your dream job. All right. And make sure, again, I went over a lot of different strategies and stuff like that. Join my free career transition summit, and you're going to get, in-depth strategies. I go deeper, get templates, step-by-step strategies, guys. I will help you with this stuff. I want to help you. Okay. So here's one last question I will leave you with. I want you to ponder on. What's the one question you loved the answer the most? And what's the bold step you're going to do because of it? What are you going to do next? All right, guys. That's the show. It's all about who you know. Bye.